Hi, I'm Brian A. Boyson, Peak Performance Sales Strategist and Coach at SAP, and thanks for tuning in to the Millennial Sales Life, Episode 9, Have You Fallen in Love with Cold Calling? I know it's kind of a strange question, but if you listen and you fall in love with the cold calling process, I think you're gonna have a lot better opportunity for results and peak performance, all right? So this is something as an early talent salesperson or a millennial that you get a new patch, you're gonna get most likely a dormant net new account set where no one's really gonna have relationships and they're really not gonna talk to you. I know I had that in the various jobs coming up through the ranks, and I got that at SAP as well. So you need to master the skill of demand gen / cold calling, and if you fall in love with the process, it's gonna make it easier for you, right? So, all right, why falling in love, right? Because when I ask people what do they love, they go to a place of resourcefulness, they go to a place of joy, they go to a place of great attitudes, right? And whether it's you love sports, something that you do, or a significant other, it's just a good feeling. I think with cold calling, a lot of us have a bad feeling and are demotivated, and we pick up the phone, we're like, oh man, gotta go call some people, get rejected, right? That's not a great feeling. And so if you want to be a successful salesperson, you got to embrace that, and you got to change your belief about it. All right, so I'm gonna go through 8 steps that I've learned over the years, and it's a combination. There's a lot of things out there like challenger sale, Sandler, spin selling. So I've taken a lot from Sandler because I liked his approach. And when I really started to do this, it really changed the game, right? So there's 8 steps I'm gonna review with you. And this is about changing your mind and fall in love with cold calling, all right? 8 steps that we're gonna go through that are hopefully gonna help you do a better job and get meetings and hit your targets, right? So the first step is, and I have notes here in case I look down, all right? The first step is fall in love with cold calling, all right? Decide today that you're gonna love cold calling, you're gonna embrace it, and you're gonna have some fun with it. If you don't do that, then it's gonna be a tough journey for you, all right? The second step is stand up and smile before you get on the call. Usually, before you get on the call, your shoulders are down, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna go make some calls, and you got, all that, at least I did, type of attitude when you're doing it, and people can sense that, they can feel it. Tony Robbins talks a lot about this, about the physiology of one's body and the stance that he's taking. So stand up, put a smile on your face, and then smile and dial, right? You've heard that before. So the next step is when you finally get a person on the phone, a lot of us freak out, especially earlier in our career. Wow, somebody actually picked up, because it's usually pretty rare, right? So the first question you want to ask them is, hi, I'm Brian from SAP. Did I catch you at a bad time? All right. And it's important to say that I catch you at a bad time versus did I catch you at a good time? Because what is someone going to immediately do when they get a phone call they weren't expecting? They're going to say no, right? You go into a store, what's the first thing that they do? The person comes up to you and say, hey, can I help you with it? And already you're giving the stiff arm. You're like, no, you don't even know what they're gonna ask you. So the natural response is gonna be no. So did I catch you at a bad time? No. All right, so now you've bought yourself a couple extra seconds, right? So the next thing you wanna do is you wanna ask permission. You just interrupted their day, right? So ask permission to talk to them. And the way this goes is, hey, did I catch you at a bad time? Hopefully they say no, right? The next thing you want to say is it okay if I take the next 30 seconds to tell you why I'm calling, all right? So when you do that, when I first did this, I literally almost heard the person fall out of their chair, because how often do they get asked permission after they've been interrupted, right? So this is the second step in that call once you got them live, ask permission. So now they give you permission, right? So now you bought yourself 30 seconds. So the next step is give them the power, right? So is it okay if I take the next 30 seconds to tell you why I'm calling? Hopefully they say yes. And then you say, at the end of that 30 seconds, then you can decide if it makes sense for us to continue talking or not, right? Give them the power. Once they know that they've got the power and you don't have the power, then they may listen, right? So that's a big thing to do. Next step is tell them it's okay to say no, right? at the end of this 30 seconds, this may not be a value for me or for you. So just tell me no, and that's okay, right? So that's a big thing to hear from them and to give them that ability to make that decision. All right. And the next step after you do that, right, you want to bring some insight. So you got the 30 seconds. You want to bring things that are relevant to them. If it's a CIO, you want to bring topics that CIOs are thinking about. As if it's CFO, you want to bring some financial related performance metrics that are industry standards, maybe from Gartner or different reports that you've seen. And just say, hey, I have conversations with customers all the time. These are the 3 things that they're doing with or we're talking about. Are any of these relevant to you, right? And hopefully they are, and then you can ask them to stack rank them to get more clarity. And then if they say no, actually they're not, why'd you call me? Then you say, well, while I have you, what is relevant to you? And if they say something that you can help with, then maybe you keep them on the line, right? So that step is bring the insight to the call, right? And the last thing is, if you've gone through the process and they're interested, then set the next step. You've called, you asked to catch you at a bad time, right? That's the first step. You ask them for permission. Is it okay if I tell you why I'm calling? And then you gave them the power, right? You can make the decision, it makes sense for us to continue. And then you bring the insight, and then if they agree to move forward, then you set the next step, right? So hopefully that results in a meeting. Hopefully that results in another call, some additional action on both sides, and you can move forward. So that's it. So fall in love with that process, and you'll have a lot more meetings, a lot more success, and you just have a lot more fun. And that's what we're here to do. So that's it. That's all I have for you today. So I'll ask you, have you fallen in love with cold calling yet? And I'll leave you with what I always leave you with. Rise up every day of your life, set a new standard, make you move, and become who you are.